How's it going, folks? I'm Des with DesFit, and this is the COROS VERTIX. It's a GPS watch that COROS designed with the outdoor adventurer in mind, touting a pretty impressive battery life, a durable build including a sapphire glass screen with a DLC coating, but they also made it fairly lightweight. So I've been testing the VERTIX out for about the last week or two, and I'll have a full in-depth review out in a couple weeks, so make sure to subscribe to get a notification when that video comes out. But today's video is just more of a first impressions of the device, and if you do like this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. It helps the channel out a lot, and I appreciate it. And by the way, this isn't a sponsored video or anything like that, but with all that out of the way, let's talk about the VERTIX. So first off, it did come in this rather large case, kind of akin to carrying around plutonium or something along those lines. And apparently this is going to be pretty close to what the final production units will be shipped in. When you open up the case, it'll have the watch body itself, and then you'll have to attach the straps, and then you're going to have the manuals below the phone. Pretty simple. But COROS claims the VERTIX to be the most durable GPS watch on the planet, using titanium build materials as well as that sapphire glass screen with the diamond light coating. And I'm a big fan of sapphire glass screens, so I'm pretty stoked to see that. And it also does have a waterproof rating down to 150 meters. It's going to be offered in 4 different color options, and I think this one's called the Gray Rock, which is kind of like a black basically, along with a quite familiar silver bezel with an orange strap, which they call Fire Dragon, and then a Mountain Hunter version with kind of like this bronze bezel and a green strap. And then they have this Icebreaker version that's actually going to have a clear case. Pretty unique. However, the Icebreaker version does cost a little bit more. Oh, and while we're on the subject of price, so the Gray Rock and the Mountain Hunter and the Fire Dragon, those are going to come in at $599, where the Icebreaker is going to come in $100 more at $699. But the other impressive claim is going to be battery life. So they claim 45 days of regular use. And again, I've only had this for about the last 2 weeks, so I can't verify that quite yet. However, then they claim 60 hours of normal GPS usage using 1-second heart rate recordings. That's pretty impressive. However, then they also have this Ultramax mode that's supposed to get you 150 hours of GPS usage. However, that does reduce the GPS sampling rate to every 30 seconds, but that's still supposed to get you 1-second heart rate recordings. And although this video isn't actually a review video, I do have to say that the battery life claims do seem to be holding up thus far. I charged it about a week ago, and I've been using it consistently for that week. And I've done about 6 hours of outdoor activities and some indoor activities as well. And I still have about 60% of the battery life left. So that's pretty good. So as you can probably tell, the VERTIX is taking quite a bit of inspiration from the Garmin Fenix line of watches, from everything from the bezel and the case design to the quick release mechanism and the straps, as well as even the charging cable. But in regards to weight, that's where they're trying to shave a little bit off here. So the VERTIX weighs in at about the same weight as the Fenix 5 Plus Titanium, which I have here at 76 grams, and then about 10 grams lighter than the standard Fenix 5 Plus, which weighs 86 grams. The other big difference is going to be how you actually interact with the device, with the VERTIX having a 3-button configuration rather than the 5 on the Garmin's. However, the VERTIX also has this rotating dial on the middle button, which you'll use to rotate it through different screens. The upper button toggles the backlight, and then the bottom button is your back button on most screens, or a lap button during a workout, with the middle button as your enter key. It's all pretty straightforward, and then again, you'll use the dial to go through different screens. On the back, you'll get an optical heart rate sensor that also has an SpO2 sensor, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then in terms of connectivity, it connects to ANT+ sensors only, but it does pair to all the normal stuff like external heart rate sensors, speed and cadence sensors, as well as power meters. And then another big feature is that it's going to have 24/7 blood oxygen monitoring using a pulse oximeter. And it's designed to give you an assessment of your altitude acclimation, so that's going to be especially useful for all you high alpine mountaineering folks out there. And then taking a look at the interface, on the first widget, we've got your calories, steps, workout duration for the day, as well as floors climbed. Next is a heart rate graph over the last 6 hours with your current heart rate. The next widget shows the elevation over the last 6 hours, and then the next screen is the air pressure, which is going to be used for some future updates as well. Then there's going to be a temperature widget. And then lastly, we have some basic one-way notifications. To access the activity profiles, you'll press the middle button, and then we currently have a few different running profiles, mountain climbing as well as hiking, and then some biking profiles, indoor and outdoor swimming. And by the way, it does attempt to record your heart rate while swimming using the wrist-based optical heart rate sensor. Again, I'll show you my findings on that in the final review. And then it also does have a triathlon mode. This AI trainer section right here shows your stamina as well as your recovery time, and then it also shows your activity history. But I think this probably belongs more in the widgets that are accessible from the watch face, like the heart rate and altitude widget, though it seems a little bit out of place in the list of activity profiles. But then you can dive in to see your actual workout details. So let's take a look at one of these activity profiles, and let's look at the run profile right here. So if we enter into the run profile, you'll see a start option as well as interval training, and then it'll show your heart rate status, your battery status, as well as GPS status. You'll have different options for training, such as intervals, aerobic training, and then anaerobic training. So if we enter into the anaerobic, we see a moderate training effect of 2.5 right here. And then if we back out of that, we have your settings, which we have your navigation settings, and then you can add courses using the COROS app. And then you can have different alerts, autopause if you wish, as well as a metronome. When you actually start the activity, you'll have your distance and pace along with the time, and then you can actually iterate through the screens using that rotating dial. But you'll have screens for heart rate, cadence, stamina, your actual training effect, then your laps, elevation, and then back to the main screen. And you can customize this from the app, by the way. All right, so that's just a quick little tour of the watch itself as it sits right now. But like I said, I know there's going to be some future firmware updates, and I will be adding some functionality that we'll talk about in the final review. But for my first impressions, it's been a solid little device. In terms of the GPS and heart rate accuracy, they've been pretty decent, but I have to say that the battery life has been pretty impressive so far. And then interfacing with the device using the rotating dial has been pretty enjoyable as well. However, I have accidentally rotated a couple times. And I do quite like the size and the lightweight nature of the Vertix, and it's been really comfortable to wear. And I think they chose a good size and weight for this device. But at the price of $599, it puts it in an interesting position compared to the recently released Forerunner 945, as well as the Phoenix 5 Plus, and even the previous generation Phoenix 5, where it definitely doesn't have as many features on paper. And again, these are the features as of right now, and I know more features will be added with future firmware updates. And with the final review, I will be testing this just as thoroughly as all my other reviews, so make sure to subscribe to get a notification when that video comes out. And if you like this video, hit that like button down below. And I guess in the meantime, go get some adventuring done.